Hey everyone, welcome to this week's live sesh AMA. So we'll get started really soon here. Just a housekeeping as usual. Please put all of your questions that you may have in the YouTube live chat. I am actively monitoring it and we pull them aside as we see them. So get them in soon so that hopefully we can get to them all. And please keep everything farmer friendly as always. And I will bring up Luke. Hey.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I just want to dive into it. So number one, I've been thinking a lot and reflecting. We haven't done an AMA in about like a week or two. I missed all of you. And I just wanted to start off with like appreciation to all the people who are still engaged with our community, who are playing our game and who are building here with us. I just have been like really, really reflecting in the beginning of 2023. And Pixels is just in such an incredibly strong position because of you guys. It's been a lot of work on our end to find a group of people who, you know, really like what we're building and are not just interested in what we're building, but are interested in seeing Web3 become better, particularly Web3 gaming. And yeah, it's just such a blessing to have this community. Over the last 6-7 months as we've been building, or honestly for the last year as we've been building, we've been really, really stressing building out a group of players in the community base who actually like what we're doing, who, like the mission that we have. And, it's so nice to actually have that around. To have a group of players and community who are here, not just to see us build a game, but who actually want to see Web3 and Web3 gaming become better. It's just been awesome. So yeah, we feel really, really lucky to be building this out with you guys. And I just want to acknowledge that and, move on. So with all of that being said, we have a lot coming here for the next 3 months at Pixels. I posted a tweet the other day kind of describing the way that we like to build and the way that we like to grow as well. And how I think about growth is I like to push it in waves. I think at this point, I hope we've kind of, enabled some trust in the fact that we're able to gather attention. For me, I don't know why, I just obsess with growth. I obsess with collecting attention. And to me, it's best to position that in waves when we actually have something tangible to show to people. So, we grew a ton in our play to airdrop and we grew, as we released the game, and now we've been back in build mode. But, the next 3 months are going to look like, wrapping up the build mode and then moving on to the next stages of development, essentially. So I kind of want to go into high level, and we've already been talking about this a bit, but just give you guys some more insight into things that we've been working on, why we're doing it, what the next steps are, and then we might go into like a high level overview of our white paper and what we're thinking about with that as well too. And then we'll open up the questions and kind of dig into all of that. So again, thank you guys so much for being here and showing up. I feel so lucky to have such an active and engaged community. I really do think it's the superpower here at Pixels. We get live feedback on our game. We get people who actually are playing our game for the game. And, as we move on to the next stages, as we release Pixel, as we release Pets, I really think this entire community is going to do well for that reason. But it had to start with those fundamentals. It had to start with building out this community and engagement. And we're just so lucky to be here with all of you. So again, high level, what we've been working on, we've been talking about this and teasing this and going on to, we've been tweeting about this as well too, is we have like several things in development here at Pixels. One, we're still working on building out our farming game loop. We're trying to make that better, more engaging, and we're always actively working to, improve retention rates and improve playability there. Two, we're working on the release of the Pixel token. Three, we're working on the release of a new mechanic called Pets. We're really excited about that. It's going to be a large part of the Pixel token as well. And then we're working on two other things as well too. We're working on, a platform. So we have a partner project called NewCyber. If you guys have been following along, they're really close to releasing. And actually that project is going much better than I had anticipated. NewCyber, what it looked like at first was, it was going to be a new map. They were going to be able to use their own token in our game and ecosystem. They're actually using a token called Cyber. You'll have more information from that project soon on like what that actually looks like. But, our platform has actually proven to be a bit more robust than we even thought. They're actually gonna have a pretty unique and cool game experience when they launch. And it's looking like it should be this month. There's just a few things that are to be done with that project still. Like they're working on the token, their tokenomics, but basically the tech is ready to go. We're ready to release it. So that's a huge area of things we're excited to move on to with the Pixel token and with the next quarter as well too. So be on the look for the platform. We'll dig a bit more into that as well as we go into like a high level overview of our white paper. And then we also have, a large consideration around economics and VIP and what we're doing with all of that too. So high level too, in order to, increase the playability of our game, we really need to make sure that we are protecting real players. We're protecting people who have good intentions in the game. So we are about to introduce a lot of mechanics that will crack down on botting, on cheating, and on pure value extraction as well. So we're really excited to release those. And then timeline with that as well too is when we release those features within, it should be the next couple of weeks. We'll also open up withdraw and deposit of Barry. That's coming very soon. And then also Barry will probably live on some exchanges as well too. So we'll be talking about that and going over that. But yeah, that's a high level overview of what we're going to be covering today. So I'm really excited for you guys to join us. We won't spend too long. I'll probably, ramble and talk for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll open up some questions. So thanks again for joining us. So let's just get into it. So our white paper, as we're restructuring it and as we're moving on to it, number one, I want to dig into why we're kind of changing our white paper and why we're adding new stuff. We've had a white paper out since about like July. And the great thing about Pixels and what we're able to offer is that we're a really nimble and agile team. We released a white paper, and now we have a live game that we've been analyzing. We have like real econ data that we can look at, and we can see all the potential issues that might have happened if we were to release Pixel as planned in July, back before the game was even released, when it was all theoretical essentially. And we can adjust and actually make the release of Pixel and the future of our platform much stronger and much more viable in the future too. I think we need to remind people when we're designing these tokens and these systems, we are going to be a large holder of this token. We have a vested interest in making sure that it has the best long-term outcome. So we're really thinking about that too. It's cool because in Web3, right, there's incentive alignment. We have incentive to make sure that this token launch goes well. So anybody that's always worried about this token's going to be worthless or anything like that, I don't want to speak on price or speak about anything like that, but just note that we do care about the token ecosystem and we care about what we're doing here. It's also important to us. We have a vested and aligned interest as well. So again, with our white paper, we are keeping most of it. Honestly, the core thesis, the core pillars of our white paper still stand. So essentially, if you were to read through, what we have on docs.pixels.xyz, you'll see that we've outlined, a couple of core pillars, what we're doing with our ecosystem, what we're doing with our token. We outlined three main principles that we're kind of living by. One is fun being first and foremost to anything that we're doing here at Pixels. We are extreme believers that value in a token ecosystem needs to come from actual value and not through speculation. So that means that we need to be creating an ecosystem where people are playing our game because they like the game, and the token needs to be used inside of our game because they want to be using it for stuff in game. It sounds so simple and so obvious. And like, it's funny because, when we were pitching this a year ago, like the response to that statement was very different. The space has moved a lot in the last year, and I think this is kind of core consensus now. But I remember, pitching the initial idea of Pixels to VC, to investors and stuff like that in like the end of 2021. And we would always get so many questions about, okay, but what's the emission? What's the burn? And those stuff are important too. But like when we were saying, no, the game has to be fun first. Yeah, that was kind of surprising to people. So that is still a core tenet. Like the game needs to be fun. Two, we are huge believers in interoperability. We are really, really early on the concept of avatar integrations into Pixels. We have over like 60 something avatar integrations into our ecosystem now. And that's one really obvious form of interoperability. But we're really interested in further forms of interoperability. And that's a lot of what Pixels has been experimenting with lately as well, especially with our platform play too. And that's why we're really aggressively pursuing things like the integration with NewCyber to see if we can have them use our tooling and infrastructure. And we really want to see if we can expand that as well. We have a lot of really cool things coming with that. I can't leak too much of it. We're going to slowly leak it more and more over the next 2 months. This is going to kind of tie into the Pixel token integration, but expect interoperability in ways that the space hasn't seen yet, and interoperability in the ways that is quite unique. So we're excited about that. And then the third core tenet was gradual decentralization in our original white paper, and we still stand by that. Essentially, we believe that decentralization is the long-term end goal, but we think it's actually much, much quicker for a game like us to move rapidly and adjust really quickly. And you've seen that with us. We'll release something, and we take a very aggressive approach to building and releasing. That is a result of me being the founder of the project, and that's kind of just my personality rubbing off. But I do think it's a pretty smart one to have, where we release often, we release quickly, and we adjust and iterate based on feedback from our community. To us, I think it's our killer advantage against the AAA games that are going to be releasing this space. We can release something and change it in a week. A AAA game, they're not going to have that advantage. And in Web3, I think it's actually extremely important because Web3 is so community driven. We really do need to be taking feedback from you guys because we can't guess everything perfectly right. We can't balance everything perfectly right. The idea is we want to be able to adjust as needed and gain your trust and then slowly decentralize more and more of the process as we go on. So that's kind of the high level of like core mission thesis. All of this is staying the same. And none of this has changed. In terms of like team and makeup, again, this team is a very technical team. Like 4 or 5 of our engineers were former CTOs at VC-backed companies. And that's kind of the approach that we take to building too. We build out, very strong, deep tech, and all the stuff that we're building on and all the stuff you see in this game is actually, I don't want to call it revolutionary, but it's, not easy stuff to build. A lot of it's very unique. Almost everything that we built is custom. And, that reflects in the tech, and it's allowed us to do some really interesting things. So as we move on to the next stages, this tech base is one, opened up really interesting opportunities for UGC on the blockchain. And not just UGC, but also like other larger platform plays on the blockchain. And then, other interesting avenues like that as well too. So again, that's like our core thesis, how we think about when we build, what we're building. So then let's dive a bit into, what we're actually building. So, we have always started with this thesis of building in the vertical slice model. So we want to build out one full slice of a game element and then kind of move on to the next. We had pitched this back like way back in December 2021. And the idea was we wanted to, first start with a vertical slice of farming. We had tech that allowed us to pivot into this area quite quickly. And, it was an easier area of a game slice for us to kind of develop. Number one, because I'm a huge Stardew Valley fan. So there was just tons of inspiration from there. But then it allowed us to ship really quickly. Then the idea was to build other slices. And now we're finally in the stage where it actually makes sense for us to build another vertical slice. So the gameplay that you guys have been playing, this farmland vertical slice, That's live right now. But then second, and what we're working on now, and what's kind of like tying into this next part of the white paper, and our future plans is we are building out a second vertical slice around the pets mechanic. And the reason why we're doing this is again because we're an agile team. We see that in our farmland vertical slice, it's actually doing pretty well. We passed Axie Infinity in terms of daily active wallets on average this month, which is super exciting. So there's obviously something there. But we see core issues in this first vertical slice that we want to address that will make the Pixel token even stronger and the entire game ecosystem even stronger. What we're seeing in this current vertical slice of the game loop that you guys are playing right now is you guys are collecting all these resources. We want to create more compelling reasons for you to actually be using these resources through gameplay, through narrative, and all of that. So we're introducing a second game mechanic, pets, in order to do that. We had this thesis in the very beginning in our farmland game that people would want to be spending a lot of money on decorations to show off their farms. And while that is happening, it's not happening in the degree that we wanted. So we're introducing new mechanics. So we think we can actually introduce, burn and more reason to be, actually accumulating resources in the game for these reasons. So that's what's kind of going on with that. So if you dive into our game, we've kind of outlined like several different asset classes now. We have resources, we have industries, we have land, and we have tokens. And we're about to introduce a few new things too. We're about to introduce pets. We're about to introduce Pixel, and then we're about to introduce something like a membership as well too. So two big things that are changing in terms of like the economics of Pixels is one, in order to help the health and ecosystem, as best as possible is one, we're really cracking down on bad actors or value extractors in the ecosystem. One way that we have planned on doing that is introducing trading limits, so the amount that you can actually give away from each account, but you're going to be able to increase those limits through something through Pixels VIP. We'll kind of outline and like drop what Pixels VIP looks like in a written format really soon, but just note that it's going to be a membership that you can purchase. We're also going to be airdropping it to the people in the top 20K. That's confirmed now. So anybody who participated in our play the airdrop, we're not going to make you pay for anything extra, but it is a way to change the economics of botting, change the economics of the game, and we're going to make it we're developing in a way where it makes economic sense to get it essentially. So the main value of Pixels VIP when we're introducing it is it's going to lift off giveaway limits, not trade limits, since you'll be able to do balance trading as much as you want. And then it will also give you discounts into things like breeding and other mechanics that will be using the Pixel token as well too. It's kind of cool how it works. Essentially, we've been thinking about value capture for Pixels a lot in terms of how we actually stay alive in the long run. If we have this token, like, is our way of monetizing just dumping this token on all of you? We don't like that model. We actually like thinking about value capture in a different way. This Pixels VIP is potentially a way to do that, where we can give you discounts on Pixel purchases, and then that discount essentially just goes into the form of like ETH to us. So it's a way that we don't have to have this like weird misalignment in the Pixel token, a way for us to capture some value and just kind of make it worthwhile for all of you guys, and also kind of attack the economic angle of bonding as well too. So we're excited about that. The next thing that ties into is land ownership. So one thing we want to do also in terms of the Pixels VIP is any perk that goes into Pixels VIP, we want to also provide to landowners. One thing that we've been thinking about a lot is the economics of landowners. We want to make sure that as we move on to the next stages, as we are thinking of dropping a token, as we're thinking about doing a pets mechanic as well too, we want to make sure that the people who have bought land really feel like it's been worthwhile. And we've been thinking a lot about this kind of stuff too. So things like the Pixels VIP and then other future things as well too, that will also be available to landowners. And we're also thinking about way more ways that we can integrate what we're doing into land ownership as well too. I will say how we're designing pets is quite tied into land ownership as well. So we're really excited about what the future of that looks like and moving into that way as well too. The next thing that you'll note as we're going to release more white paper details is we're going to be adding more progression in the farmland game that we've been building out. So that's one big thing as well too. One that does help with like level 5 bobbing and like the lower end of the bottling, but it also encourages you to stick with one account. It encourages, further progression in the game, and it, promotes, just better and more fun gameplay in the long run as well too. So then, yeah, one thing. So the other two things I want to go over are, pets, what that's going to high level look like a bit more, and then let's go into the platform just after that, and then we'll kind of dig into questions. So pets, let's talk about them. Again, we're releasing pets because we want to, actually introduce more engaging mechanics that we think will kind of engage players in the long run and give people more of a reason to be playing the game and collecting resources. So we'll give more, descriptions and like what that's actually going to look like. But just note there's going to be like a couple stages to pets. There's going to be like the initial mint. There's going to be like a really large hatching mechanic, and then there's going to be a breeding mechanic as well. But the thing is, we don't really quite like everything that we've seen in the space being done before. Again, we're fun first and we're gameplay oriented. So whenever we're making decisions around like how these mechanics are going to work, that's what we're thinking about. Where we don't particularly like the whole concept of mint this NFT, get this pet, it just sits there, or do nothing and breed the NFT. We've seen some interesting ways that this has been done, like Cool Pets, Axie. They've all brought their own taste. We like a much, much more gameplay oriented approach when we're thinking about pets and the mechanics and the design. So high level, I can just kind of dig into like the hatching stuff that we're thinking about. So for example, we're introducing a hatching mechanic. It'll probably be, a relatively high effort mechanic. We want the pets when we're releasing them to one, reflect the work that you put into it, and then two, also like reflect like the energy and time that you put into it as well too. So we're introducing a mechanic where like after you get we're calling it a pet capsule, you're going to have to do like a bit of work to actually hatch it. It might take like a couple weeks of care, and it's going to kind of play like a current industry, but you're going to have opportunities to one, like you're going to be able to mint a pet and it's going to have a certain level of base stats, but then two, you're going to be able to improve the base stats through these mechanics that we're introducing through this hatching process essentially. So like the more that you take care of it, the more that you pay attention to it, the more like power your pet is going to be essentially. We're pretty excited about that mechanic, and we're going to give more details and like dig into that a bit more probably the next AMA. High level, essentially like we're wrapping all of these mechanics up, we're going to hand them off to our partner, we're going to get these reviewed and kind of move into the next stages pretty soon. I like to move really aggressively, and I thought we were going to be able to get these mechanics designed in like a week, but it makes so much more sense that's taking a bit longer for us. But yeah, what we're coming out with is pretty exciting, and we are pretty stoked for the next stages of it. So yeah, just note that there's going to be like a mix of minting, breeding, and hatching mechanics. The more work and energy that you put into the game, the better your stuff will become. There's going to be an element of randomness for all of this. So on the minting, you're going to get a random level of base stats, traits, all of that, but you're also going to be able to improve them and also influence them through the hatching mechanic as well. Then there's going to be like a training and happiness loop after they hatch as well too. These pets will have immediate utility inside of the game for certain things like storage, certain things like moving around. They'll follow you like day one when they launch. You're gonna be able to use them, see them in game. But then we're also designing further mechanics that are more skill based in the future as well too. So high level plan with the pets is we want to create a mechanic that gives you a reason to actually be using the resources that you're farming, and then we want to start to introduce skill based mechanics into the game as well. That's one thing that we think we're missing that will actually make the game much more engaging. So on the high level roadmap, expecting the skill based mechanic to probably come like late Q2. But then the pets and all of that to be coming at the launch of the Pixel token, and to be usable in game right then too. The developers are already working on them now. We have like the following stuff in game. It's pretty fun. So we're excited about all of that kind of stuff. And then the thing I wanted to close on with the white paper too is the platform, and kind of dig into what we're doing with that as well too. So again, if you guys haven't been following the project, Pixels has built a really, really wide array of tooling that powers our game, but not only can power our game, can power other games. And not only that, but we actually are going to be opening up this tooling in the long run to our players as well. So we want this tooling to be open to our players to create new content, things like new in-game items, things like new in-game stores, eventually maps, eventually quests, and eventually their own experiences as well too. This release will be kind of slow, and we'll probably be releasing it over like the next like 6 to 9 months, one tool at a time essentially. But I'm obsessed with the idea of UGC. One, because it makes it so that you guys can create content for us. We don't have to do that, and it really unlocks a ton of interesting creativity on your guys just to make the game a bit more engaging. Then two, it also creates a entire economy and ecosystem that we might not even anticipate. Kind of like the creator economy in Roblox, or the creator economy that you're seeing in Sandbox as well too. Our tooling is adequate to open up that as well too, and we think that's a really potential interesting use case of the Pixel token as well. So expect us to slowly be launching one tool after the other over the next 6 to 9 months. But honestly, I think something like the item creator, we're probably going to release a bit sooner. I'm going to be pushing for that to be released like very shortly after the Pixel token release. So our tooling is actually, it's not so dev heavy, which is really cool. The way that we've designed our tooling is there is like a backend API, SDK, all of that. But we've also introduced tooling for like no code builders as well too. So things like adding new items in game, that's an NFT that's connected to the blockchain that you can spend Pixel, Berry, ETH, any of that for. We can all do that without any code into our ecosystem, and that's the kind of tooling that we're going to be opening up to our players eventually as well too. So that's something that we'll probably be charging like Pixel for, and then we'll allow you to actually sell in-game items through in-game stores that you create and such as well too. So we're really excited about that. The first iteration of that will probably be just like decorations, but then our system actually does allow for some pretty interesting stuff in the future. We'll probably open up more open up more physics-based areas and things like that as well too in the long run. But we do expect that to be a large part of what the Pixel token can do in the long run as well. And New Cyber is kind of our proof of concept to show the world like, hey, this is exactly what our tooling can do. We have literally 2 games live at once, and we can open up this to more and more people. So like high level approach with our tooling is like we're going to like slowly open up some of our tools to users, and then we'll also probably have a services side of things too for NFT projects or any other project that wants to get involved in Web3 and wants to have their own game experience. We'll probably be a bit hands-on with these projects early on, kind of teach them the tooling and open up that more and more as we get more and more projects onto this. But then the cool thing is, the more projects that we get on, the more worlds that are created. The Pixel token works between all of them. The pets mechanic will also travel between all these worlds too. So the pets that you guys see in Pixels, they'll follow you to New Cyber, and so on and so on. So it's a really interesting way that we can kind of also create, even more utility for, feeding the pets through land ownership, through berry generation, and also the pets itself will work through any other experience created on this ecosystem. So we're really excited about that. We think there's some really interesting network effects that we're going to be adding. And yeah, we're super, super excited about those stages. So there's a lot in store for Pixels. I couldn't be more popular, or I couldn't be more excited about the future. And then, as we start to move into the next stages as well, somebody just asked, it's so popular in desktop, why not launch a mobile phone? There are plans and like rumblings of moving into that direction too. So our core thesis here again is we want to prove out these game loops. We want to make sure they're fun, they're getting the retention that they need, and then we're going to start expanding into other areas too. It's funny because the regulation around mobile is getting a bit more difficult. We'll see what we do with that, but there are things like companion apps that we can do. So we've been talking about like if we do release when we release pets, there's actually the potential of like opening up some of the mechanics of the pets inside of a companion app essentially. So doing like all the daily care of your pet, like Tamagotchi style in a companion app, things like that. So that's kind of like what we're thinking about with mobile app. And then we'll probably allow the core loop to be, usable in mobile browser relatively soon too. And if you guys pay attention, there actually are a lot of people that have gotten Pixels to work in mobile browser. So if that's something that you really want to do, it's actually possible. We might, honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea for us to just link those guides to do it unofficially. But yeah, high level, guys, that's like what we're working on. We're really, really excited about this Pixel launch. It's going to launch with day one utility. We're going to start marketing it, doing all of that stuff as well. And just remember, if you have land as a large part of this Pixel token, we've set aside a large amount of the token allocation for the pre-alpha rewards, and land ownership is a part of that. So do note that. Like we're thinking more and more about like what land does in the long run as well too, and we're going to be actively working to make sure that it is feeling as good as possible to all of you. But do note we're really excited about this Pixel token launch. It's gonna be big. We don't say that lightly. Like we know when the things that we are going to do are going to hit. We know that this Pixel token will likely hit. So we're excited about that, just given all the resources that we have behind it and all the attention that we've been paying towards it. So yeah, we're really excited about the next stages, and yeah, we're more than happy to answer any questions now, and let's just dig into it.
Okay. First of all, I love this comment. Raise your hand if you're farming while listening. I'm not, because I ran out of energy, and also I, can't. But I love that. Like, I just imagine the setup, like 2 big desktops. We got us on one side and farming on the other. And then another, I love seeing when people, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the words here, are just on board with us and agree with us. It means a lot. So I love how you go fun first. Too many games are pay to click and then get boring after a day. So yes, we're fun first. We're a gaming studio first. So thank you for being here with us. Okay. And then there's one comment here that I really wanted to address. Where was it? 1 second. So I know you've heard this before, but clearly stated rules of conduct is a good suggestion. Most dedicated player here. Love the game. And sad for my situation. So we do have community guidelines, actually. They're already published. They're on our help center. They've been there before then. They were on our Notion, and now they're on our help center. They've been there for a very long time. However, I have been actually working really hard on updating them. So we are going to release an updated version, and it's actually going to be on our website this time. But in the meantime, we do have community guidelines, and they are on our help center. So you can see go and search for those right now if you want. And then I think probably in the next few days, I'm going to release the next updated version of our community guidelines, just because I know some people have been asking for some slightly more in-depth rules. So that is coming.
Yeah,
But
and this is extremely important as we open up withdraw and deposit of the Berry token, which is coming very soon. So yeah, again, we're holding up on that because one, we needed to get clear guidelines. We needed to make sure that we have a strategy for making sure that bad actors aren't dumping the token or manipulating it through botting. And we have solutions coming for that really soon, on top of the ones that we've already been doing. So yeah, all of this is kind of coming together too.
Yeah. Okay. And then someone else just asked a question I wanted to address. Where was it? I just want to apologize to anyone that was affected by my Discord account being hacked last week. That was devastating for me. Luke called me and told me what had happened, and I was distraught in my car. I actually was. I wasn't even home, and so I was really upset. And did everything I could for my phone, and then rushed home. But I'm really, really sorry. I can't say it won't ever happen again, but we do take these things very, very seriously. And I apologize. If you were affected by what happened last week from my account being hacked and there was a malicious link posted, please reach out to us. We have been helping those specific individuals. I do believe that most have been taken care of so far, but I will touch base with the team. And like I said, hop on our Discord, or actually better, go to our help center, open a chat, and just say, hey, I was affected by this, and someone from the community team will help you.
Yeah, it's been happening to a lot of Discords lately, which is interesting. Luckily, we were really on top of it. We, banned Heidi from our Discord within like 3 minutes. And then we did, pay for gas for people to go on revoke.xyz, all that kind of stuff too. So I appreciate the team's response to that. We were quite on top of it, which I do appreciate. And then, yeah, as you guys also noticed, like our Discord wasn't compromised, just one account. So we do have some pretty good, DevOps place for that. But yeah, unfortunately, it's been happening to a lot of Discords lately, and it's hard to avoid when you're dealing with so many collabs every single day.
Exactly. Okay, so hopping on back into more gameplay stuff, or will VIP be top 20K for life, or is it a one-time thing?
Yeah, so what we're probably doing with the VIP is it's going to be like a year-long thing. maybe a bit shorter. But yeah, we think it's fair for the people who participate in that. Like it's not very fair to say, hey, you have to do this, then you have to pay for VIP. It's more just like about new accounts and putting an economic barrier to new accounts in order to um, not have to like have them dump so much token. What we're seeing with some of the botting is they'll make a new account, they'll farm for a little bit, and then they'll give all their berries to either middlemen or other accounts too. This is a way that we can kind of avoid that if we limit asymmetric trading in one direction. So yeah, we're thinking about trading a lot in terms of asymmetry, making it much harder to give away berry to other accounts essentially.
So I can't just walk around and give people random things anymore?
Yeah, VIP, it's fine.
Perfect.
And then note that this giving away also applies to withdraw from the ecosystem too, because otherwise you'd be able to withdraw and just give it away on chain. So I think we're setting a limit of like 10K per month without VIP if you want to give it away or withdraw or deposit. And what's interesting is like there's economics that kind of work with that too, where if you're earning enough berry and the berry that you've earned is less than the VIP amount, it actually makes sense to still get the VIP for people who are actually playing a lot too. It's just a way for us to also kind of capture value as well without having to like do the weird stuff about token manipulation or dumping it as well. So I think it's kind of a win-win for everybody in that scenario. Stops, low-level spam accounts, rewards more engaged players, and we're also going to offer other perks with it as well too. I think VIP players are going to be able to get extra bookmarks, extra inventory slots, and then again, like when we're doing things like breeding or when we're doing things like a mint or anything like that, it will apply like an adequate discount to make it worth it.
Okay, and we've kind of been talking about different things that we're doing to tackle bots. So I just thought I'd pull up this. What about bots? 80% of all players right now are bots. I would love to know where you pulled that information from. But Luke, do you kind of want to just talk a little bit high level on like the different things? We can't dive too deep because we can't tell the botters how we're detecting them, but we can talk about the things that we're doing.
It's not nearly that high. We have a lot of active players, which is great. But anytime that you have a game like this, it's actually a huge problem in not just Web3, but all MMOs. You play RuneScape, there's bot farms from Venezuela, and other games like that as well too. So yeah, we're introducing a bunch of new mechanics to do that over the next like 2 weeks, and then we're opening up berry withdrawal after that. So yeah, we can't say too much about what it is because we're in a really awesome position where we can still sync out all the berry that has been accumulated by these accounts. So that's kind of why we're holding off on the withdraw and deposit.
Yeah, and the team works really, really hard. Kind of in the background, we don't publicize it too much because of, like I said earlier, we can't really, speak publicly about it. But we have a pretty dedicated team towards this botting issues that arise. And I do want to acknowledge occasionally a real player slips through the cracks because something that they have been doing kind of mimics something that we've been looking for from like a botting farm, right? And so if that is the case, please fill out a ban appeal form. We have the links for them in the I Need Help channel, and it's on our help center. And the team will look into the data, and we'll get back to you if. Well, actually, we won't get back to you. You will just be unbanned if you are not a suspicious player. So
yeah. So also that's why we're interested in moving to more skill-based gameplay too, less easy to bot, and the farming's fun. There's a great game loop there, but yeah, this also helps think about other problems like that as well too.
Okay, let me see here. Any pre-sale for landowners and players? I think this is about the Pixel token when you were talking.
Yeah, about the token. So we'll get more info on what that looks like. We'll probably be I can't give too many details, but just note like this is something that I can't say anything.
No leaky.
Yeah, we'll release details on this essentially, but just note that we'd like to reward people who've been in our ecosystem for a long time and who have shown like a lot of dedication to the ecosystem.
Okay. People love your hoodie. They love it.
Yes. Let's talk about that. I think we finally found this is the thickest hoodie I own, made by somebody I met in LA actually. I've been thinking about doing like another merch drop. We've talked about it for so long, but we didn't want to do it unless the quality was really good. I would love to hear you guys' feedback on if that's something that's interesting to you guys. For merch, like it's not something that we want to make money off of really. Like my thought here is if you were to buy a Pixels hoodie, then you're probably going to stay in the ecosystem a bit longer. And to us, that's valuable enough. So if we ever did like a merch shop, we would probably just sell them literally at cost, not really make any money off of it. Just like it's cool, it's high quality. If it's something that you guys want, be an option. Like that's kind of my thought process around it. Where like there's benefits for you guys getting our merch. Like we love that. And it's not really something that we're like, we gotta make a ton of money, and then we probably give away some of it too. So
Yeah,
let us know your thoughts on that.
merch is a tricky one because we looked into doing like quicker things like print on demand, but the quality just wasn't there, and we just didn't want to sell something that was low quality. So if we were to do a merch launch, it would actually take us like a few months to get everything prepared and printed and then go through all the process. This is IRL, right? This isn't metaverse. We can't just
this one. Yeah, I might shout him out. Drops by Ryan. I met him at like this really funny event in Los Angeles. But yeah, like this is the highest quality merch that we've had. And Heidi, some nice stuff about him is he'd be doing most of the fulfillment and all that too. So it'd be pretty low touch on us. So we could probably go ahead with it if we want.
Yeah, we'll chat. Okay. Where are we here? Could we be able to buy pets given the pixel from the airdrop, or do we need? Okay, so you kind of did dive into this already, but do you want to like quickly explain like?
Yeah, so we'll get more info on this soon. This is like still slightly up for debate on like what we're doing with this. But just note that like we do want to add buy pressure to Pixel day one, and something like this is something that's very interesting to us to do that with. But it could also be the breeding mechanic that we do that through instead. So we're gonna give info on this really soon and like the official plan around this. But I really like this idea. Yes, and that's what I'm leaning towards.
Okay, and then will we be able to mint our classic in-game character as NFT to own it uniquely?
Yeah, it's some people have been asking for. I love that idea actually. So I don't know why we haven't done that, honestly.
We'll see. We're doing pets first, right? That's kind of like a similar thing. It's not the avatar, but it's
yeah. We could do a lazy minting though. I like the idea of doing a lazy mint. So you could set it as your like PFP on Twitter. That might be. We need an intern again. That's a great intern task.
Okay. Are you planning to reward active players in Chapter 1? Any drop/bonuses in the future? Just interesting to hear your opinion about it. I think this would be great if we talked about like players that weren't involved in the play to airdrop, but are playing now.
Yeah, I mean, just note like we are about to, open up withdraw and deposit of Berry. So it hasn't been out on the market yet. Two, like the stuff that you're earning in game right now will be extremely valuable for this pets mechanic and the pre-pets mechanic as well too. So essentially with pets, you're going to need to produce these items that are, a bit expensive, and the more that you produce, like the better your pet will be. Like it's kind of like a potion mechanic. Essentially, we're introducing like this new potion making skill. You'll be able to make potions, and these potions will be able to be put into your pet every single day. There'll be like tiers of potions, and the more rare potions that you get, the better your pet will be, and you'll actually be able to kind of direct, what specialties your pet goes in with these potions as well too. And these potions will be, made with the berry token. Well, not with berry token, but like all the resources that you use in game right now. So like Voitonium, like Celtsum eggs, stuff like that will have different effects on what your pet actually looks like and hatches into. So,
okay, cool. And then this person is just asking about landowner incentives. We've talked a lot about like different things throughout this, but is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, so what we're doing is like we're tying land into pets as well. Again, note that guys, remember the pixel token is coming. We've been talking about this for so long. All you people in the play to airdrop, pixel token is coming. You guys are getting allocated that. You're getting set aside a large allocation of this token. Like I cannot be more clear on that. Like it's yeah. You guys did work hard in the game for those like couple of weeks that the play the airdrop was live too. But we also have to think about like future players as well and like the health of the community now too. Well, people are engaged actively to be the most rewarded. And then two, like you do have a substantial reward coming as well. Like you do.
Okay. I think that's pretty much all the questions. There's a few other ones here, but we've kind of covered them throughout. So yeah, I think we can wrap it up earlier today, which is great. And yeah, if we missed any of your questions, you can throw them in Discord, tag Luke or I or the community team, Farmhands team. One of us will get back to you.
Yeah, so we also should start to talk about like some future in-game changes too. I wanted to start to like telegraph that, make people aware of that too. So there are some balance changes coming into the overall game as well. Expect some new stuff in the next like 2 weeks and month. We have new content coming out, and we also have a few changes as well too. So we're introducing some changes, like for example, we're going to start to make things like the queen bee and the chickens and stuff. They're gonna have like a limited life. It's gonna be pretty long. But we're introducing some balance changes like that. So I think chickens might last like 200 harvests or something like that as well. We're doing like a lot of tweaks and stuff with the game econ that's going to be coming up. And also expect new content and quests and all that too. Some other interesting tidbits as well. We're diving much deeper into AI quest generation. We'll see what that unfolds. And other things like that as well too. We want to think about ways that we can start to supercharge content and introduce new things to do like that as well too. So yeah, just be aware there's some balance changes coming. All those things in game, they're going to start to disappear. It's like a chicken won't last forever in the coop. And then yeah, we're going to start to introduce new mechanics, new industries, and new content over the next month as well.
Look at that last little alpha drop right at the end here. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you all for coming out. It's been good, and we'll wrap it up here. And like I said, if we missed your question or if you have any burning questions in the end, just throw them in one of the general chats on Discord, and we'll get back to you. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.